The camera turns back to Gary. Like Tom, Gary sneaked out of the house at this time, but he did so to meet Kai secretly. The meeting place that Cade set was right in front of the school. Kai threw a sports bag to Gary, some clothes inside. "We are going to form a new gang, and today you will represent us. First impression. It's important because it will be our debut, so you need to look good." After Gary changed his clothes, Kai took Gary to another place. Gary followed Kai into the elevator and headed to the top floor. When it opens, Gary heard cheers and screams, as if he had arrived at a rave. Looking around, there are all high school students, and what makes them cheer is the competitive fighting in the center. "This is an illegal fighting event involving only high school students," Kai explained. "Then what are we doing here? Just two of us can't start a gang. We need more people. Can you think of a more perfect place than this?" Gary suddenly understood why the bag Kai handed him before contained more than one piece of clothing. He planned to give it to the new joiners on the spot. There are two people fighting in the ring at this moment. One of them is named Inu. At this moment, Inu assumed a fighting stance, with his knees slightly bent and his hands raised above his head. Another fighter named Spike saw the opportunity and charged at Inu. But at that moment, Inu used his knee to attack Spike's face. Spike's nose was broken. Blood splattered on the ground, and the winner was determined. Kai couldn't help but let out a whistle of appreciation, realizing that Gary was more special than he thought. Kai and Gary are discussing Gary's stage name before a big fight. Kai suggests the name Green Teeth due to Gary's green hair, which they decide to go with. Next, we have a new fighter fighting for the first time. He wants to keep his name secret, but his name is Green Teeth, the announcer yelled to the crowd to get them excited, while Gary was still putting the connect the dots. "You want to make some money, right? Don't worry. I bet we can share the profits. This is the best way to make us famous, so it's time for you to go make us some money, Green Teeth." Kyle smiled and said. Before Gary had a chance to refuse to play the next game, the crowd made a way for him. "Is this possible?" Gary wondered. As a fan of altered fights, he naturally dreamed of taking the stage himself. Who would have thought he'd get a chance, just in an underground fight club? Now let us give a warm welcome to his opponent, Billy Buster, the announcer shouted, and the crowd burst into cheers. And a bald man walked in from the opposite side. Billy took off his shirt, revealing his six-pack abs. The game began, and Gary's improved werewolf vision allowed Gary to easily see the opponent's offensive intentions and dodge Billy's attacks every time. But he didn't choose to fight back. He just dodged the attack so that he wouldn't be hit. After dodging several times, a buzzing sound sounded. The next moment, everyone in the crowd took a step forward. Suddenly, the arena becomes smaller. This situation is not good for Gary, because the shrinking field means that the space for him to dodge is also smaller, and he must fight back. Gary imitated the way he KO'd Spike out of anger, and fought back with his knees. He clearly heard and felt Billy's nose break, and thought that was the end of the matter. The fact is that the opponent was able to shake off the blow, angrily swung his right fist, and successfully hit Gary for the first time. "Your left rib has been fractured. Energy points will be used for emergency treatment. -10 energy." As soon as this message appeared, Gary felt something escape from his body. After a few breaths, he was back to normal. It was like he was never hit in the first place. His fracture has completely healed. "Wow," Gary thought as he gently patted his injured side. "I healed, and quickly. Is this what being a werewolf is about?" Lee was clearly shaken, but he stood up as if he had just been slapped. The audience was stunned. He thinks back to earlier in the day and what got him motivated. That's Jin, the new girl. He imagined she was somewhere in the crowd watching him fight, just like she had done earlier today. Gary could feel the power rising inside him, and when he saw Billy's fist, he didn't dodge it. This time he swung back violently, his fists clashing together in midair. The pain in his hands, the adrenaline from the battle, and the longing for Jin all made his heart rate reach an unprecedented level. Gary took the initiative for the first time. He tucked his legs under his arms, put his hands behind his neck, and hugged the surprised Billy. Gary, almost possessed, decided to sink his teeth directly into Billy's right shoulder. His powerful jaws cut through thick skin with ease. Billy screams in agony, wanting nothing more than to get away from his crazy rival. Gary can't think straight and he must take Billy down. He climbed on top of the poor guy, pinned his arms under his knees, then opened his palms and started hitting him over the head, one after the other. Inu, like everyone else, couldn't believe his eyes. How could a skinny guy be so powerful and so wild? As everyone knows, Billy seems to have passed out. Please give our newcomer a round of applause. The announcer announced after learning that the fight could not continue. As soon as he finished speaking, a system screen appeared in front of Gary, congratulating him. Task reward, 50 experience points. Congratulations, you have now reached level 2. New skills have been unlocked. Attribute points granted.